Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
What up, YouTube? It's Jim from Two Fat Guys Pull List, and happy Sunday. Welcome to episode 184 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. And it's just me, Jim. It's just me, Jim, tonight. We are getting close. We're getting close to having Nate back on the show. He's working things out with his current job, and it's just going to be a matter of time. But Nate will be back sooner than later. But it is what it is. But he'll be here. Don't worry, he'll be here. What up, John? What up, Thor? I'm guessing that's Joe. How's it going, guys? How are y'all doing? This week was great. I really enjoyed this week's comics outside of just one or two. But most of them were freaking awesome. So I can't wait to talk about them. But let's talk about some business before we get the show started. First, we're going to talk about our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That is Nate and I's LCS, where we pick up all of our new comic books, all of our back issues, our trades, our omnibus, our action figures, our models, our posters, our trading cards, dice, D&D stuff, games, board games, card games, snacks, plushies, all of it. Collected Comics and Games. If you're in the DFW area, they have 3 locations, one in Fort Worth, one in Hearst, and one in Irving. All great locations. Brent and Ron have done a great job of curating some awesome stuff in their stores. So if you are in the DFW area, make sure to hit up Collected Comics and Games. And if you're not in the DFW area, we would implore you to go to their website called staycollected.com. It's a great little website where you can do a lot of good shopping, just the same stuff that we talked about, even store exclusives. They've got cover store exclusives. They've got everything I just talked about on the website. So shouldn't have a reason not to go check out Collected, whether it's online or on one of their physical locations. So please go check them out. All right, that's the wrong button. It's always that one. I got to get rid of that button. Anyway, the other business that we got to talk about is we have a sub-goal giveaway. We're on the road to 1,250 subscribers. I believe at the moment of us recording this right now, or going live, we're at 1,051, but that number jumps up and down. But we're getting closer, guys. So if you're not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell and smash that like button so we can get this going. When we hit 1,250 subscribers, we're giving away, if I can get it, this CGC grade 9.8 Uncanny X-Men issue number 1, signed by Jim Chung, cover artist. And I believe this was in 2019. So 2019's Uncanny X-Men number 1. So we will be giving this away when we hit 1,250 subscribers. So please make sure to hit that sub button. And when we hit 2,000 subs, we're giving away this CGC grade 9.8 signed copy of Thor number 1 Nick Klein Nick Klein sketch variant. Can't speak. Signed by the great one, Donny Cates. So make sure to sub. We give away some cool stuff. John coming in with a super chat. I didn't get to read comics this week because I was in Chicago at a horror convention. Nice. I'm here for the spoilers. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. So Joe says, hello, comic fam. Another great week of comics. My patois was Avengers 17. John says, hey, y'all. Jaden says, what's up? Good. Finally, I was able to make it this time. Right on, Jade. I'm glad you're here. I'm always glad when you're here. And if you're not, I know that you're going to catch on. You're going to catch up. So yeah, we missed the OG of the Fat Guys. What? Anyway, yeah, it was a great week. I loved this week's comics. Like I said, there was maybe one or two that I wasn't really a big fan of, but other than that, it was a solid week. I'd give it a solid A. A. It was an A week for sure. So let's kick it off with our independence with Dynamite Comics Space Ghost issue number 4. I really liked this issue. Obviously, I loved seeing Zorak being the main focus of the baddie here. And, you know, my exposure to Zorak was, you know, the Adult Swim version. So it was just kind of a crazy, kooky version. And so in this, like, he was deadly. I don't know, man. I think this is a great comic. I think it's just a fun ride, and I'm digging it. Like every issue just seems to get better and better. I think the stakes get higher and higher, and I don't know. I really loved this issue. I thought it was a good time. You know, I never. My expectations are never. I don't feel like they're too high. I think they're just right. So every time I read this book, it's awesome. Like it feels good. So, yeah, I think I liked this issue a lot. I think the dynamic with Space Ghost and the kids being his sidekicks, I think was great. I just really liked the direction that Papos took Zorak in this book. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, like I was not disappointed with this book. It was great. I think if you're looking for a new book and you want to read something that's kind of retro and classic yet still has this like kind of new age feel, go check out Space Ghost. Space Ghost is awesome. I think it does a great job of just kind of melding the two ideas of it being a retro old school book and then like new age style comics. I think it's great. So it's kind of just bringing those two worlds together. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. All right, we got Ain't No Grave, issue number 4. This was a wordless issue. You know, it was fine. It was very, you know, I read backwards on my pull, so this is one of the last books I read. And so it being a wordless issue was kind of a relief in my opinion, just because I had done so much reading. And so when I got to this issue, it was actually quite, you know, nice to just kind of take your time and go through the paneling, but we just got more you know, backstory, history, and we also got we're heading towards the conclusion, right? We meet death at the end. I think the artwork from Jorge Corona was just gorgeous. I cannot complain about that. You know, I just wasn't expecting a wordless issue, like, you know, a no words issue. And so it was kind of a surprise, but it was a relief too. And I think that was really because of like my reading order. I don't know if I'd have the same sentiment if I was reading this first. But I liked the issue. I think Jorge Corona his artwork is so killer. I think it was great. So I don't know. I liked it. Joe says, Jim, because it's just you for now, how about you tell us what manga you're reading? Oh man, that's a good one. I am actually reading quite a few. A lot of them are slice of life, if I'm not being honest. If I'm being honest. So Rent a Girlfriend, Dangers in the Heart, I believe. Chain Soldier, I believe I'm reading. And there's something else. I'm missing one that's a pretty big one. Oh, what was it? There was one that was like super badass. I know I have ordered, I don't know when it comes in. I ordered the original Trigun manga. I think I got the collector's edition. I'm super stoked for that. Like, if you haven't read Trigun or watched Trigun, you need to watch it. Trigun is in the old cartoon. The new one's good. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm about halfway through the season of that. But the original Trigun, so good. So good. All right, next up we got the Power Fantasy issue number 1 from Karen Gillan. Guys, I don't know if you picked this up. I don't know if you read this, but dude.
That's Chip's pick of the week.
This was my pick of the week. And before I get to that, Joe, how do you feel about Wordless Comics? You think it should be cheaper? No. I mean, I understand. I kind of get. I guess I get that direction of that comment, but I believe, you know, I don't know. Like, I thought Ain't No Graves wordless issue was fantastic. I think the artwork really, like, I mean, I've read or looked at, I guess you could say, wordless issues before, and the comic and the artwork just doesn't live up. But in this case of this week's Ain't No Grave, I think the artwork was really shined even more. You know, I think you could. I think you could do a wordless version. I don't know. That might be a little hard to pull off, but I thought I don't think so. I don't feel like I got cheated. But again, I'm saying that off of reading it quite far into my pool, like almost one of the last books that I read. So like it was kind of a relief. I might feel different about that approach if I had read it first or second. So I don't know. But as of right now, I know, because most of the time when you have wordless issues, the artwork is gonna amaze. You know, like a Peach Momoko or a Daniel Warren Johnson, or like any, like, I mean, not Jorge Corona, Jorge Jimenez. You know, you could really do. I feel like when a comic does that, they know that they're gonna blow it out of the water. So I'm gonna say no for right now. I don't know. What do you think? As for the Power Fantasy, this is my pick of the week. I was not expecting this book whatsoever. I think I saw an ad for it when I was checking out a couple weeks ago at Collected. And Leah was like, "You just check it out." Like, okay, yeah. This book is fucking crazy. Artwork, top notch. It's Karen Gillan. This felt like it's a Karen Gillan book. It felt like a Karen Gillan book, but it reminded me a lot of an indie Jonathan Hickman book. Just that kind of level of setup, that kind of level of intricacy. And so essentially you have these beings that have a nuclear arsenal, like power level inside them. And the whole idea is for them not to come in contact to one another because they can blow up the earth. And we kind of see them. We see a kind of a setup in the late 60s with them, and then we jump into present day where they're, you know, the power dynamic between themselves and the power dynamic between them and the real world. It's just a very high stakes story where they're trying to establish some normalcy, but you just can't do that with beings like this. It was like X-Men on cocaine. I don't want to spoil it at all. I don't want to spoil any of it, but just know that like some crazy shit happens in this book, basically towards the end, and it's got me hooked. That's why it's my pick of the week, because I wasn't expecting it. It was issue number 1, and I'm putting it on my pool. Like, it's on my pool. I'm not even thinking about like, oh, I'll give it 2 issues or I'll give it the first. Like, no, it is done deal. It's on my pool. This book was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed it. Karen Gillan, you know, I will say the beginning was a little slow in establishment, kind of thrown in there a little bit. But as the book progressed, I was like, okay, I see what we're doing. Oh, that's what we're doing. Like, a lot of fun. And again, the artwork, I think, also was a very key factor of it obviously becoming my pick of the week. I think this book just fired on all cylinders. Yeah, I liked it. I thought this was a great issue. If you're looking for another indie book to put into your pool, you're looking for something new and fresh, check out the Power Fantasy from Karen Gillan. I can't recommend it enough. This was a very fun book. I loved it. Joe says, it depends on the art. Is it better than what you've been getting? Because wordless comics can be so fast. But if they did like a 6 to 9 per panel, per page to visual tell a story moment by the moment. Yeah, no, like, it was good. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, I think it was not. Ain't No Graves. Wordless was great. I think it was a pleasant surprise. I guess I could say that. I don't think I've ever had a wordless issue yet that I was like, you know what, that didn't stack. Like, it to me felt clean. very clean, and very effective. But back to Power Fantasy. Hey, if you, dude, pick it up. It's so much fun. Jennifer had to pick that one up. Wish me luck. You'll find it. I don't think it'll fly off the shelves. I could definitely see this turning into a show, though. I will say that, like, or a movie. I could totally see it. This was that kind of level of just like, whoa, this is insane. You know, it's good. It's really good. All right, jumping over to see if we have Absolute Power issue number 2. I was not disappointed with this issue whatsoever. I think the stakes got raised even higher. The hook, the reveal, like, goddamn, that's insane. Why you do my boy like that? I really liked this issue. I thought it was super fun, and you know, as of right now, let's see, what did you say, Thor? Or, Joe, you said, does this feel like early Immortal X-Men? Maybe a little bit, but I wouldn't. Maybe not terribly. In the sense that, you know, in Immortal X-Men, it just felt like a lot of talking. Like, just, and that there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that notion of like a comic just about talking. But I will say that the beginning kind of felt like that, but then the middle and end was a total roller coaster, and I think that's the best way to describe Power Fantasy. It's just it kind of starts and you're like in the middle of a ride, and it's like, okay, I don't know, and then like that ride within that where you get thrown into immediately shifts, and then you get into where you're going, and it's awesome. And I will say, I think I would equate it in the sense of like establishing the story. I would put it more in like Napalm Lullaby, where it's like there are just things that you don't know yet, but it feels natural. You don't feel like you're missing anything, even though you are missing stuff. You're missing core details of the story, but it feels natural. Whereas some stories, they'll try to do this and it feels like they didn't write a complete story. So if that's how I would describe this book. It's really good. I think it's great. As for Absolute Power issue 2, I think the main event book, in my opinion, seems to be doing the legwork, which I think it should. And so I'm not, even though there are a lot of moments in the book that are like, yo, you need to have read this and this and this. Like, I'm so exhausted with DC right now, I don't care. So reading this, I just kind of took it as a silly goose time. And so it's made it, reading it, a lot more enjoyable for me. And so I liked it. The decision to, spoilers, make John a Brainiac cyborg, that's insane. Like that is some summer event level shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me more of that. Because like, I'm not, you know, I'm past this, like, you know, how do we reverse these things? How do we get back to the normal? I don't care. Like, at some point we're going to get back. Like, he's not going to be this, right? There's no way. But I absolutely loved this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun. This made me excited for DC. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. Joe, Absolute Power was great. I love the action. Got one complaint, though, for the heroes not knowing who should lead, and knowing Nightwing being the leader of Titans and didn't ask him means they don't see him or the Titans as the main team on Earth. And they're not going to be, right? Because the Justice League is coming back. We know this. I think the Titans and Nightwing being the established, like, leadership has been a definite missed opportunity, and it really shows in Absolute Power. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Joe. You know, disrespectful to Nightwing, because since Dark Crisis, the Titans are the new Justice League 100%. Like, that's they don't, it just reeks. I'm right here with your complaint. The way DC right now is just utilizing its creative assets in the comics, it's just kind of willy-nilly, kind of throwing it out there. And so who knows where, Absolute Power is supposed to get us into, this Ultimate Universe for DC, and we'll just have to wait and see. But this book was great. I thought it was fun. And then obviously Dan Mora on the artwork, like you can't get any better than that. That dude is, established house style in my opinion when it comes to DC. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. So, I loved it. I thought it was a great book. I read the first arc of Titans, and they tackled wildfire problems. LOL, no wonder. Sorry, can't get to the other part because they don't respect them. Like I tried to get into Titans, and I couldn't get into it. And I think it was more of the writing style than the characters. I love the characters. I just didn't like the writing. But it's just me. But Absolute Power, absolutely fun right now, or at least the main book. As for the tie-ins, right? As for this, to me was a total just like, I don't care. And I hate saying that about Chip Zdarsky's Batman. But right now, again, like the tie-ins that are built into ongoings just they feel lazy in my opinion. Did we establish some stuff in this book of like context and core details? 100%. With Waller having a boom tube off of a boom, like okay, like at the end of the day, I didn't really care. Like it didn't. This was one of the books that were a miss for me, and I think all of these Absolute Power tie-ins into the main books are just total like, ugh, I don't like it. So that's all I really got to say about this book. Joe, Tom Taylor is on Detective Comics after Ram. You jumping back on? Probably, 100%. Not that I didn't like Ram, I did, but Tom Taylor, like I gotta check it out. Tom Taylor's one of those writers that I have to check out. So yeah, I'll probably jump on. All right, Birds of Prey, issue number 12. We're continuing this road with Babs and her trying to get to her and make sure she doesn't die. This chibi version arc I thought was really fun. This universe changing artists every issue, that's where it makes sense. And I think Birds of Prey is doing a good job of that right now. I think they've done a good job. I think Thompson and DC, picking up artist after artist, changing the style when they jump universes. It's a very clever and right way of utilizing a different artist on every issue. It makes sense. But when it's when you change the artist abruptly and it has no context within the story, that's when I get fucking pissed off. But this is still super fun. I do feel like issue 11 and 12 kind of feel like the actual beginning of the arc because we get so much more of a better explanation of what's going on. Whereas the previous issues within the arc feel kind of displaced and not put together properly. But I'm sure that was on purpose. But I just don't feel like it was done effectively. But issue 12 was great. It feels like we're like intersecting a conclusion at some point. We're getting there. And so we'll just have to wait and see how and when we get there and what'll happen. But Birds of Prey 12 I thought was great. I think the art style really was kick-ass to see. Just like the cartoony versions of Birds of Prey. I thought it was a lot of fun. All right, jumping over to Marvel. God damn, this was fun. The Avengers issue number 17 from McKay. Storm being asked to join the Avengers. Here for it. Getting a continuation and or like return of Heroes Reborn, Jason Aaron storyline. Wasn't completely 100% sold on that little thing, but it was fun. I thought it was fun. So to see Hyperion, kind of connecting that storyline and him coming back and trying to find any form of worth in his lack of an existence and not being real, I thought was really cool. I know some people will probably like, I can't not say like I'm being hypocritical because I can't say I'm being hypocritical, right? DC does this all the time where they hint back to a storyline that happened a couple years ago. So I'm not gonna say that I'm definitely in the wrong there, but I liked it. You know, being so invested in the Avengers with Jason Aaron, I thought it was fun. It was a fun callback, but I really like seeing the Avengers, more specifically Captain America, go and talk to Storm and say, "Hey, yo, I need you. We need a mutant representation on the team," which I think is right. I think that makes sense. Like, if you're going to defend the Earth, the mutants are part of the Earth, right? They need representation on the team. And why not have a better mutant than Storm? I loved this issue. I thought it was fun. I thought the artwork also was really, really, really good. Joe, back on Birds of Prey, Kelly Thompson has become a top writer. Wish I was getting on Nightwing next. Is she doing Nightwing next? I wish she was on Nightwing next. You know what? I would love Kelly Thompson to do She-Hulk. Just saying. I think that would be really good. Great issue. Finally, column issue Avengers needed an issue to build chemistry and just battle instead of just battling every. Yeah, no, it was a good kind of in-betweener. That weapon extraction thing bugs me. It only bugs me, John, because like it felt like it came out of nowhere. Right? Like I didn't really pay attention to it, and then suddenly I was like, wait, what is this? And then they're like, oh, it's being, you gotta read issue blah 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 over here. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go pick up a book that I don't read to finish the storyline. So I'm sure they'll release this as a one shot at some point for like $20 or some stupid shit like that, and I'll probably read it then, or I'll read it on Unlimited. But yeah. Don't you agree with Carol about them failing or T'Challa they won? I think I don't know. I think I'm like kind of split down the middle. I can kind of see both sides of the argument for them. If I gun to my head, kind of a perfectionist, and I'm kind of on Carol's side. Just because I think that's always been, I feel like that's always been a criticism of the Avengers, right? Like, they're top of the top, and you would think that they'd see a threat out, right? They would see something like that. They would see a threat coming, and they're just kind of lackadaisical, and they got a lot of shit going on too, right? It's like, I don't know. What was the book? Oh, Absolute Power. I think I know that's not Marvel, but like, I don't like with that book. One of the plot points is that Amanda Waller outsmarted Batman. In what fucking world? Right? In what world would Amanda Waller outsmart Batman? I just don't believe it. And so I kind of like take that point, even though it's different characters, different storyline, different publishing. Kind of see that in Carol's mind, like they should know the threats that are coming. Obviously, they're not going to know every single one of them, but like this was in their backyard, right? This vampire threat was in their backyard. So I don't know. Maybe it's a hot take. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm kind of with Carol. But I see Black Panther's point. Like, they won. Earth's still here, right? I don't know. Maybe being a perfectionist it's just too much. That's too much of an ask. I don't know. Anyway, I loved the issue. I thought it was great. As Tony said, we are the Avengers, right? No, not the pre-Avengers. 100%. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what? Bear with me. I'm gonna do something here because I hate this cover so much. I don't know why I decided to keep it in. So we're gonna, let's see here. So it is number 11 on the tile. I'm so annoyed. I'm gonna change it on the live show. We're gonna do it live. I hate this cover. I think this cover is atrocious. So I'm gonna put on the cover that I picked up because I think it's a much better cover. So let's see here. We're at 11, right? So let's go here. Yep. Oh, there it is. Bada bing. And then we'll have to come back to it. So let's go through everything that we've already seen. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Daredevil. Back to Avengers. I feel like Captain Marvel leadership is in danger. Okay. Since this run has started, she has been overruled by Thor, T'Challa, Tony, and now Storm is on the team. She's just just ran a nation. Yeah, you're right. That Daredevil Bullseye cover. Yeah, that cover's dope too. But I picked this cover up. I think it looks great. This Seven Deadly Sins storyline, I think, is just getting better and better. And the fact that Greed was possessing Kingpin, I think, was great. I think this issue was. This run is great. I think this run could be wrong, but I feel like this run's a little underrated. I think some people aren't picking it up, and I think they're missing out. I will say it kind of jumps in and out of the Seven Deadly Sin possession storyline and just Matt being Matt and like learning how to live again. I do agree that there is some ebbs and flows, but this issue was stellar, man. I think the storyline was kick-ass. Really bringing in the weight between the two characters. And I thought the artwork was good. Overall, great issue, 10 out of 10. I'm very surprised that Daredevil, and for me, has kept working. Because there have been some other books that, prominent writers have been on that they've jumped off. And now, there's a new writer, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't work like Deadpool, and I feel like it doesn't work with Captain Marvel. But with Daredevil, I think, it's not, I'll say it's not as good as Chip's run, obviously. But it's a different run, but I think it's just as successful. It incorporated, obviously, things that happened in the previous run, which I think is great, and it's doing it effectively. So I liked it. I'm really digging this run, but ready for a new storyline. Yeah, I think we're getting close, Joe. I think we're getting real close. All right, I'll be quick on this one. Incredible Hulk. I don't know, man. This book I feel like is in the vein of Thor 2, where like it goes up and down, and I feel like Philip Kennedy Johnson. It just feels like we're doing too many like in the past. Like I'm kind of just. Let's just stick with the Hulk and let's tell the story. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off on that. Like maybe we should be getting all the history lessons and understand the past before we really get into the present with Thor or with Hulk. But I don't know. Like I just this issue to me was like, oh, here's a version of Hulk back in the day, and we get more Green Door, which, hey, I'm happy about Green Door. Like the fact that we're continuing that storyline from Ewing's run and that plot point is still moving with Thor or with Hulk. God damn it. I do like that. But overall, this like going back in time, learning more history. I don't care about that, in my opinion. Maybe some people liked it, but for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is what we're doing this again. Like we just did this like 3 issues ago, and now we're doing it again. So like it feels kind of an old plot, like an old story mechanic that I don't feel like it's effective. Maybe I'm wrong. You let me know, chat. I just feel like it was okay. Joe, 12 issues for one story is a lot, but it's better told than what Tom did with Nightwing. Yeah. As a Hulk fan, this run has been watered down from the start. The arts hasn't been consistent either. First issue of this Hulk run was so great, but I don't know where the hell we are now. Yeah, like I agree. Like we keep on jumping back into the past for explanation. Like I think I get it. So like let's just do it. Let's get with the body horror. Let's get with the out of control Hulk. Let's get with him trying to get rid of Banner. Like, stick to it. This jumping into the past, like, I just don't care. I don't care. So sorry. Ultimate Black Panther issue number 7. We're continuing our setup, right? We're continuing this setup to this war between Wakanda and Ra and Khonshu. It was a good issue. I mean, it was all set up, in my opinion, but we definitely get T'Challa being more direct, right? He's getting impatient a little bit, but like I wouldn't say impatient. His resourcefulness to defending Wakanda is shrinking, right? He's getting more brash. He's getting a little bit more bold in how he displays his control and power. And I think in the end, it's not gonna work out for him. Maybe it will. But this, it feels like we are moving in a direction where no matter what Black Panther does, he's going to lose control, no matter how much he thinks he's ahead of the curve. And I think that's the beauty of the Ultimate Universe, is that like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like it's kind of gritty. I think Ultimate Black Panther does a great job of that. So anyway, I'm glad it's not just a rote for the trade, but gosh, let's see something, right? Yeah, on Hulk. Yeah, Hulk it's been kind of a disappointment, which sucks to say because it's Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's a great writer. He's a really great writer. But I think it also has to do with like Nick Klein like being off and on again. Like that is such a turnoff in my opinion. Like if we're changing artists and it's not because of mechanics, it's because of just like I don't know. I would assume like being able to pump out artwork on time. Like then don't do it. Or the book doesn't come out. It comes out 3 times, and then next quarter comes out 3 times, and then like just kind of more like that rather than trying to pump one out every month. Like if it needs to be out a book a quarter, then so be it. You know, pull up at Peach Momoko. You know, like I'm okay with that. If we keep the art consistent, I think that drives the story, in my opinion. All right, what was your grade for Ultimate books so far? Let me go back here. Outside of the initial reestablishment of the Ultimate Universe from Hickman, I'd give it a solid A. You know, Ultimate Spider-Man, freaking awesome. Ultimate Black Panther, hell yeah. The Ultimates, kicking ass. I'm in the minority, but I feel like Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, I love that she's doing her own thing, and I think that's the whole point. And so I love it. So I think for me, as of right now, the Ultimate books are an A. Maybe an A-, but I'd say just a solid A, in my opinion. If I had to give it a letter grade, I'd give it an A. What do you think? What would you give it? Let me know. Also, before we get to our last book, if you're watching this right now and you haven't hit that like button, smash that like button, please. Let's get it up. Let's do it. Anyway, let's get back to Uncanny. So, Uncanny X-Men issue number 1. I got more than one pick of the week. Just letting you know that right now.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
Listen, it's my show. I can do what I want. This is my other pick of the week. This was fucking awesome. I think Gail Simone did an absolutely amazing job of the dynamics in this new team. I may catch something for this, but I felt like this was a better X-Men book than McKay's. I'm just saying. Like, it felt so much more cohesive. It felt like the X-Men. And then the artwork, holy hell, dude. Like, it was just on point. I loved it. I loved this book. I think, this got me incredibly excited for the X-Men books. I'm still giving McKay's X-Men, like, I'm going to give him a year. I'm going to do it. I'm in on it. Like, I'm not going anywhere on that. But this felt like this should have been the X-Men book, in my opinion, instead of McKay's. Just saying. Joe, Uncanny X-Men was amazing. A lot in this book, but dang, why show us Make-A-Wish die? R.I.P. Henry. Yeah, dude, that was fucking brutal. That was so brutal. And I didn't see it coming. Like, but then you see him reaching for Rogue's hand, and you're like, oh shit, no, don't do it. No context. I'm not going to give any. If you're interested in the X-Men books, but you don't know, like, if you really want to do it, do Uncanny. It is so good. I think the only thing that can ruin this book is if the artist changes in the next, like, 3 issues. And we know that's going to happen, right? That's probably going to happen. This was way better than McKay's. I actually got to read this one. Right on, John. Yeah, I agree. I think McKay will find his footing. Don't get me wrong. I think McKay will find his footing on his X-Men book. I just think with everything that he's writing right now, like, he's got a lot on his plate. Like, he just has a lot on his plate. So Just take some time. Take your time. And then I also think that this is kind of becoming more of a critique on Stegman, but I think Stegman's artwork was just looked rushed. Just looked rushed. What's the name? This is a bikini body. Like, this was awesome. This was so good. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was great. That lady that hates mutants damn near grew a mustache. Nice strokes. Yeah, I don't know, man. This was a great book. And y'all are gonna have to school me on this. Oh, John, you got the new emote. You got the new badge. You got the freaking Viking helmet. The dungeon helmet. Hell yeah, dude. That's so cool. It's good to it's cool to see it finally live in the chat. The new badges. So what's that got you at? Like, is that you? Now you're at 4 months, or was that 6 months? I don't remember. That's dope, dude. That looks great. Remind me or educate me. So at the end of the book, we got the new mutants that show up. Are those new? Are those established characters? Are those mutants that have existed, or did we get cameo appearances of new characters? Let me know, because I mean I liked it. Thought it was cool. John, I agree, Jim. McKay's title needs a while to cook. Doctor Strange is a great example. There you go. There you go. I'm sure X-Men will do fine. Yeah, dungeon helmet. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it. I'm so, that's probably one of my favorite badges out of the memberships. I will say though, I think at a year you get like a golden gem, which looks pretty cool too. They're all 8-bit themed. They're all 8-bit like Dungeons and Dragons themed. I had a lot of fun with that. Anyway, yeah, perks. But yeah, help me out. Let me know in the chat if the mutants at the end of the book, if those are new characters or those established mutants, because I'd like to know, because I don't. I don't know. Before we end the show, let's talk about last week, because last week we didn't have a show. Was last week Blood Hunt? Right? Was that the reveal? I feel like it was. Yeah, Blood Hunt. So let's talk about that reveal. Yeah, with Doom. With Doom being the new Sorcerer Supreme. What do we think about that? I mean, I'm down. I think Doom, obviously, like, I don't know what the coincidence is with Doom coming back Doom coming into the MCU. I don't know, but I'm here for it. I'm sure if Nate was here, he'd say he'd be here for it too. With McKay writing most of the Marvel and bringing Doom in, and the timing with the MCU, you think we're getting ready for another Secret War? 100%, bro. Would you launch? I mean, it's. Let's get it. Let's get into this. I'm not arguing. I'm just like, I'm getting excited. Would you? Okay, so you got Kevin Feige, right? You got Kevin Feige, who is, establishing that the MCU is going to be the MCU and the comics are going to be kind of aligned, or will be aligned going forward, because you want your audience member to go see a badass Marvel movie, right? And then be like, you know what? I'm gonna go to a comic book store and pick up a comic. I think we're getting a Secret Wars. I think we're getting a third Secret Wars. I can't see why we wouldn't. And I'm here for it. Who writes it? Is it going to be McKay? I'm sure he'll do great if it's McKay. But can we just, like, I know it's a long shot and it's my default answer for everything, but could you fucking imagine? A Donny Cates Secret War book? I know he's been out of the game for a very long time, and we don't know if he's ever coming back. But if he does, can you imagine the comeback if he writes a fucking Secret Wars book? Dude. Just saying. Anyway. Hey, Bluey. Yeah, so my kids are like Bluey holics, and so they had this shirt at Target, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. John, I was disappointed with that the Doom thing overshadowed the ending of the Blood Hunt story. Yeah, I guess. I liked it. I think if there's a character that's gonna, outside of Khonshu, be able to bring the sun back, I think it would be Doom. But I get it, John. I think the Doom setup in Blood Hunt, Doctor Strange mentioned it. Really? Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I was personally, when it happened, I was excited for it, and then I knew that the minute Nate read it, he was gonna lose his shit because he loves Doom, absolutely loves Doom. So that's just me. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think it will be a big war between 616 and the Ultimate Universe. Maker will go to war with 616. Probably. It's gonna be it'll be an Ultimate Secret Wars, like just this merger of two ideas, just get nuts. So, and I know we kind of did that with the Ultimates, and that's how we got rid of the Ultimate Universe in the Secret Wars with Hickman. But then I think we're just reversing or reestablishing, right? I don't know. What up, Patty? How are you doing, man? I think everyone's doing great, and I'm glad you're here. It was heavily implied. Okay, all right. Yeah, anyway. This war ends Ultimate Universe. You think it'll end it? We'll see. I don't know, man. I think Marvel right now, especially with everything that got announced over at D23, I don't know. It just feels like Marvel, it doesn't matter if they have stumbles or not. They just seem to plow through it. Whereas DC, they're still fumbling. Anyway, but I don't know. I think Marvel right now is on a roll. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement for what's going on at Marvel, especially with everything that's starting up again. I say all that saying I'm not picking up the new Iron Man book. I'm not interested. Let me know. Are you interested in the new Iron Man book? But the steampunk thing, I'm not. I'm out. I might do the West Coast Avengers thing. I definitely think I will check that out. But the new Iron Man book to me does not look like fun. Imagine an Ultimate X-Men anime. Oh, shut up, dude. John, stop it. Cut it out. Don't get my hopes up. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this week's live show. Two Fat Guys Book It. I am so... When I don't have Nate above me talking, I just I go in weird directions. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me live for this episode of 184 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. Thanks to everybody that hung out. Just as last month's sales show that Marvel's 8 of the top 10 best-selling comics. There you go. Props in the numbers, bro. So anyway, I thought it was great. Neighborhood, what up? He says, so far I feel like Uncanny X-Men is the best book so far from all the X-Men book stuff. I agree. I was a little let down by X-Force, but want to reread that. Not going to judge anything too harsh after one issue. I'm right there with you. I felt like X-Force took a minute to get started, but once we got into it and got towards the end, I was like, okay, I'm here. It's starting to cook. So say what you want about Marvel, but they know how to sell comics. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate your dedication. No problem, John. I'm glad you're here. I'm just glad that I get to hang out with y'all and talk comics. That's, last week we took a break. We were celebrating birthdays over at the family house, over at the grandparents' house, so that's why I kind of took a break last week. But we back better than ever, and we're just gonna keep doing it. So, anyways, guys, thanks for joining me live. We'll catch you guys this Tuesday for another new comic book day. Nate may or not be here. We'll see. I'm going to text him right after the show just to see what his schedule is looking like. But like I said, we're getting close to Nate being back on those shows again. His schedule's getting reworked. He got another promotion. So, things are starting to kind of look up where he's going to be able to write his own schedule. So he might be able to actually work on Sunday nights. Or what might happen, who knows, we may change when we do our reviews. It might be later on in the week. We might do new comic book days on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday we're talking about last week's books. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Things are we will be back. The duo will be back. I just don't know if it's going to be on Sundays anymore or if it's going to be on a different day of the week so we can kind of get in line with Nate's schedule. But either way, it's going to happen. Football season starting soon. Time for depressing Sundays again. That's the other thing. Our shows on Sundays sometimes kind of get conflicted because Nate wants to watch the Cowboys lose, and I don't blame him for that. And then I want to see the Packers win. because they do, you know. So anyway, I don't want to start that shit. Anyways, guys, thanks for showing up live. If you're watching this as a past episode, I appreciate you as well. And make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. And we will catch you guys Tuesday for a new comic book day video, which She-Hulk ends. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna be great too. But anyway, we'll catch you guys this Sunday, and then this Tuesday, and then we'll be back Sunday for a new comic book day. Probably just me again, but again, like I said, the sun is starting to rise. Nate will be back at some point, and we will have the two fat guys reunited again. John, I'm a Bears fan. I'm actually excited for once. Yeah, man, you guys got some. You've got some fire. It sounds like. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. I think it's gonna be a good season. I think it's gonna be a really good NFL season. I'm stoked. I'm jazzed for football, man. I love watching football. So anyway, all right, guys. We'll catch you guys on Tuesday. As always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. I just had wait, what do I say? I'm telling you, Nate's not here and my cadence is just off. Let's start over. As always, comic book fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.